Hello, everyone. Welcome to Court with Krissy. There's some cattiness in the courtroom. Obvs, that's why Linda's here. What else is there? There's a blind man who's playing with knives. What could go wrong? We hope you like it. Court with Krissy and Linda is now in session.
You're welcome. Who do we have next?
Position number 6, Mr. Doucette. Somebody got to help him. And Yarna, we would need a Spanish interpreter today.
Okay. Let's see, Ms. Grace, have we, good afternoon, Ms. Grace. Have we requested a Spanish interpreter?
No, I jump on it right now, Judge.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I don't mean to cut anybody off. Was that for Mr. Doucette or somebody else?
Oh, someone else.
Okay.
Someone else.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Doucette. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002091F with 2 counts of battery family violence. Mr. Howard, good afternoon. Is there a history?
Hey, fifth, got an open battery, 2 counts, cruelty in the third. It's 24 PI 007 611. 2024 battery DV dismissed. 2023 battery DV cruelty to children PTI, then it was dismissed.
Thank you. Who's presenting for the state? Okay, anyone from the state want to present?
You said position 6. This is Doucette, right?
That's correct, yes.
I believe that's Ms. Westman as well.
Westman for the state. Thank you. I apologize. I was
Thank you.
having computer issues. My apologies.
Okay, no worries.
Okay. In this case, give me 1 second. Computer's still acting up. Okay, I apologize. Okay, April 19th, an officer responded to a call that the victim, Miss Carolyn Minshew, made. She had run for the apartment and was in the neighbor's apartment when she made the phone call to police. The officer reports that what he discovered is that the defendant and the victim were having an argument. The defendant used his fingers to scratch Miss Carolyn Minshew, the victim, her face, causing swelling to her right eye, visible red welts, and scratches to her face and neck. The victim said she is a chef and asked the defendant to help her mark some knives up with tape so she could know if another chef took them. She said the defendant got angry because she wouldn't mark the knives the way that he wanted to and pushed her after she told him she didn't want his help anymore. She said she was trying to calm the defendant down while she was holding a knife, and she accidentally touched his arm. The victim, Miss Minshew, said the defendant then tried to kiss her, but she refused, so he got angry and scratched her face, causing her face and eyes injury. The officers say that the defendant was bleeding from his arm. They did see that, and that he said he was trying to help. She said he wasn't doing it right, so she bit his arm and sliced his arm as he reached for a knife to wrap it. The defendant also claims he was trying to leave, and she grabbed him by the neck and said she was going to kill him. And that incident happened at the time when she was reaching out, when the victim's face to defend himself, sorry. He does have welts on his neck and a bite mark bruise on his right arm, according to officers. Both were arrested, and they were both treated on the scene. They refused transport. The victim and the defendant, this is not the first time that police have been called. In fact, they're both in custody, and we don't know at this point where the children are. The case against the victim is being dismissed today by the DA. The record shows she's been victimized multiple times. The defendant is out on bond, And part of the conditions in that bond of aggravated battery from October 2024 say that the defendant is prohibited from living in the place with his wife and children where he was arrested. So he is violating bond conditions in the October 24 aggravated battery that is still open. They have 2 young children. One is born in June of 2023. One is born in September of 24. So about 6-7 months old. In the past case, well, I won't get into that, but the arrests for this gentleman, there was a domestic in Washington State that was dismissed, and as well as this one right now, and then that's open. And then there's a July 2023 battery, family violence, and cruelty to children. That was a pretrial diversion that's still open. At this point, based on the blatant disregard for the prior bond, the 2 young children that are being subjected to this kind of violence, we don't know where they are right now, and all of the facts of this case and the prior violence, we're going to ask for a $6,000 cash bond, no further contact with the victim, stay away from the home, the workplace, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, a family violence intervention program. And at this time, we would sound for the victim, if she can, I'm not sure she could, Carolyn Minshew.
Okay. Ms. Minshew is with us and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Doesn't appear so. Ms. Armstrong?
Thank you, Judge. I'm going to thank you in advance for indulging me and providing the court with some context in this case. As you may have heard Courtroom 2 say, Mr. Doucette's going to need some help. That is because he is legally blind. He was legally blinded in January of this year by his roommate at the Fulton County Jail when he was in custody on, according to the state, a charge that involved Ms. Minshew. Upon his release, he has received whatever care has been able to be provided to him to restore the little sight he has left. He's 90% in one eye, 75 in the other. And with all due respect, the allegation that he was helping with knives, given his lack of vision, I'm going to just stop it there and, of course, leave that to the court's discretion. This is his apartment. On the order that was set by Judge Wolf today, she is to stay away from the 4001 location. This is his apartment. It has, I can advise the court that my client reports that it has been furnished or altered to accommodate his blindness. So it asks that he be able to stay in the apartment that's been designed to allow him to function.
We're not requesting a stay away. We understand that that's where he lives.
Then I misunderstood. Thank you for clarifying. It's my understanding that the children are with a caretaker, maybe a grandparent, just putting that on the record. We were asking for what the lowest bond possible in this case. I'm not even sure if Mr. Doucette's going to be able to complete an FFIP class just given his blindness. I defer to the court, and I'm happy to provide more information as needed.
And Your Honor, just for clarification purposes, Anna Allen for the state, the facts in the police report are provided by the defendant. So Ms. Armstrong, while letting the court know that this defendant received an injury when he was in Fulton County Jail last time for an aggravated battery on the same victim, her claim is that it's nuts that the allegation in this case is that he used a knife or was helping her with her knives. That information actually comes from him. He's not completely blind. He's under an order of the court that requires he have no violent contact with this woman or their children. It is a very specific order and detailed. And the only reason he actually got that modification allowing him to get out was because of the injury he received in jail. So it's his facts and his contention that when he was trying to help his wife with putting tape and labeling her knives with her name on it, he was assaulted by her. The fact of the matter is this defendant has prior documented violent actions against the same victim and is not supposed to be in contact with her in a violent way. We're not alleging that she needs to stay away from that location. In fact, the cross-defendant or victim in this case actually filed a notice with the court in the open case that she was moving to Douglas County. So she shouldn't be there and living together because the bond order specifically says they shouldn't be cohabitating. So on multiple levels, there's a complete disregard for the orders of the court, for the safety of these children, and for the continued normalcy, quiet, and not volatile environment. Our office has let DFACs know that they need to be involved if they aren't already and provided documentation related to these cases. There's clearly an issue going on here that small children should not be exposed to. Not all victims respond by cowering in a corner. Some people fight back. And if you look at the case documents from the open case in Superior Court, the victim also battered. All you have to do is look her up in jailings right now. You'll see both of her eyes are completely blackened. She fights back. She reported to police in October that she had to fight back 3 separate times in one evening before they arrested this gentleman. So the state's not confused that sometimes both people can get arrested because cops often don't know what to do, and the best thing to do is to separate everyone. But my understanding is the DA is dismissing their case today because it's clear, based on the record, that she has constantly been victimized by this gentleman, and he's now in violation of a bond. She fled to another location and called police, and there's a safety issue, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. And just so I am clear, I believe that I was told earlier that for the aggravated battery, that he had to stay away from this. Is that the case or not?
No, Your Honor. They're to have no violent contact, and they're not to cohabitate. It was placed on the record in that case that the home there, this address, was facilitated and made so that he could be there after he was injured in the jail, and she was moving to Douglas County. So the reality is that there's a condition on him prohibiting him from having violent contact with her and from cohabitating with her. And the incident in front of you happened at that same location where he lives, where there's clearly violence happening, and that's a violation of the bond. We're not asking that he be ordered to stay away from his home, but there clearly needs to be no contact.
Okay. As such, it will be $1,000 good bond per charge, makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Minshew. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. I'm going to let DFACs handle the situation with the children. As such, he is to abide by any DFACs orders or any Superior Court orders in regards to visitation. Anything further on this, Ms. Armstrong, Ms. Westman?
Just very briefly, I apologize, just because I want to make sure that the court did not think I was attempting to make any misrepresentations. As I read the police report, it was Ms. Minshew who reported the interaction with the knives. So again, I just wanted to clarify that out of candor with the court, that I did not want to misrepresent anything. I wasn't saying that my client was contesting that, but that's what she reported to the police. So thank you.
Ms. Armstrong, they both reported that he was trying to help her put her name with tape on her knives. Somebody who's completely blind can't do that. And so representing to the court that this man is completely helpless and couldn't be helping somebody with knives and it must be a lie is just in bad faith. That's what I was pointing out. It was his statement that he was engaged in helping her put tape and decorate her knives. Okay?
She made the statement. That's all I'm saying. Thank
They
you.
both did, sweetheart.
Okay, let's not do that, okay? Let's be respectful and maintain that type of
There's no need to argue. I just don't understand why we would try to perpetuate
I
a
understand that,
distrust here.
but Ms. Armstrong she's been in front of me many times before. The sweetheart language, that's inappropriate, Ms. Allen.
Thank you,
Okay?
Your Honor.
All right. So good luck to you, Mr. Doucette.
And I'm pulling up the bond order in Mr. Doucette's bond. I believe it already addresses contact with their children. And so I think a bond order related to following any previous orders of the court related to those kids is absolutely appropriate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, who do we have next there?
We have position number 5, Mr. Delco. Not yellow.
Yeah.
What else?